There are nights when silence becomes louder than words. Nights when everything a person has hidden inside for months suddenly rises to the surface. And tonight is one of those nights, because while you may be sitting here unaware of what is happening behind closed doors, someone tied to your destiny has reached the point where pretending is no longer possible. Something inside them broke tonight, not softly, not gradually, but all at once. And what happened next? No one in that room expected. Listen carefully, because what I am about to reveal is not ordinary. The person connected to your heart, the one who has struggled between outside pressure and inner truth, has finally reached a moment of emotional collapse. For so long, they tried to keep peace with everyone. They tried to please their family. They tried to avoid conflict. They tried to silence what they felt for you because they believed doing so would make life easier. But some truths cannot stay buried forever. Some love becomes too powerful to deny. And tonight, that love erupted. It started with tension. A conversation that was supposed to remain calm turned into something much deeper. Words were spoken. Questions were asked. Doubts were raised. Your name entered the room. And the atmosphere changed instantly, because the moment your name was mentioned, everything they had been suppressing came flooding out. The pain, the longing, the regret, the fear, the unbearable realization of what life would become if they lost you forever. And then, without planning it, without holding back, they admitted the truth. Not a small truth, not a careful truth, a truth so raw it stunned everyone listening. They said losing you would destroy something inside them. Yes. Those were not casual emotions. That was not temporary attachment. That was not passing affection. That was the confession of someone who has finally realized your value when the thought of your absence became unbearable. And what their family heard tonight changed everything, because for the first time, they saw how serious this truly is. For the first time, they understood that you are not just someone to them. You are not a phase, not a distraction, not an option they can casually replace. You are the one person their heart refuses to release. And the moment that truth came out, the room went silent, because sometimes people do not understand the depth of love until they witness someone breaking over it. Let this sink in. They were not defending an idea tonight. They were defending you. They were defending what you mean to them. They were defending the future they secretly still imagine with you. And what shook everyone most was the emotion in their voice. Because this was not rehearsed, not strategic, not manipulative. It was real. It was the kind of confession that only happens when someone can no longer live with the pressure of pretending they do not care. But here is what makes this even deeper. Their breaking point was not only about family pressure. It was also about fear. Because lately, they have felt you pulling away. Even if you said nothing, even if you tried to hide it, they sensed the distance. They sensed your exhaustion. They sensed that your patience has not been endless. And suddenly, the possibility of truly losing you became real to them. Not as a vague thought, not as some future possibility, but as an immediate threat. And that realization shook them harder than anyone knows. Because they once believed there would always be more time, more chances, more opportunities to fix what was broken, more days to delay the truth. But tonight, reality hit them. They understood that if they keep waiting, if they keep allowing fear and outside voices to control them, they may lose the one person their soul cannot replace. That realization broke them open. And when a person reaches that level of emotional clarity, they do not remain the same. Something changes after a night like this. Something shifts permanently. Because once someone admits out loud what losing you would mean, they cannot return to pretending you are not essential to their life. That mask is gone now. The walls are cracking. The truth is exposed. And though you may not see it yet, the aftermath of tonight is already creating movement. They are replaying every moment with you in their mind. Every laugh, every conversation, every memory they once took for granted. Every time you showed them love when they were too afraid to receive it fully. Every chance they wasted because they assumed you would always remain available. Now those memories are haunting them, because regret has become louder than fear. And that is when transformation begins. Understand this carefully. A person can ignore love for only so long before life forces them to face it. And tonight, life forced them to face it. Their family saw tears they were not meant to see, heard confessions they were never supposed to hear, witnessed pain they did not know existed. And now, everything is different, because once truth enters the room, nothing can go back to the way it was. But this is only the beginning, because what they do after this breaking point, what decision they make now, what action follows this emotional collapse, will determine everything. They know that words alone are no longer enough. They know emotions hidden in private change nothing. They know that if they truly mean what they admitted tonight, then action must follow, movement must follow, courage must follow, and deep down, they know the next step belongs to them. So if lately you have felt strange energy, if your spirit has felt that something is shifting beneath the surface, if you have sensed that unseen things are moving, you were not imagining it, because tonight changed the emotional balance completely. The version of them that kept hesitating, the version of them that kept suppressing the truth, the version of them that kept trying to satisfy everyone else while losing themselves, is collapsing. And from that collapse, a new version is emerging, one who understands your worth, one who understands time is running out, one who understands love like this does not appear twice. But there is still one final truth you need to hear. The breaking point was not the end of their story, it was the beginning of their awakening, because sometimes a person must completely unravel before they become brave enough to choose what their heart has known all along, and what they are preparing to do next will surprise even you, because tonight was not just an emotional confession. It was the night the battle inside them finally ended, and when someone stops fighting their feelings, they start moving toward them, very soon. You may witness the consequences of this night firsthand. A message, a confession, a sudden unexpected action, something they were too afraid to do before, but can no longer resist after what happened tonight, because after admitting what losing you would mean, they understand one thing with painful clarity: life without you is not the future they want, and the next move they make may change everything between you forever. And now the night grows even heavier, because what happened after that confession was not silence, it was not retreat, it was not them calming down and pretending none of it mattered. No. After finally admitting what losing you would mean, something awakened inside them that had been sleeping for far too long. A fire, a clarity, a kind of emotional certainty that cannot be reversed. Don't skip. because this next part explains why their entire mindset has changed. After the room went quiet, after everyone stared in disbelief at the truth they had just spoken, they did something no one expected. They stopped apologizing for loving you. Read that again in your spirit. They stopped apologizing. For so long, they treated their feelings for you like something that needed to be explained, defended, justified, as if loving you required permission from the world. But tonight, that ended. Tonight they looked around that room and realized something that shook them to the core. No one else has to live with the consequences of losing you, except them. No one else has to wake up every day with your absence in their chest, except them. No one else has to carry the regret of letting fear destroy something real, except them. And that realization changed everything, because once a person understands that others can give opinions, but cannot carry their heartbreak for them, they begin choosing differently. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. They are no longer asking themselves whether their feelings are too much. They are no longer questioning whether they should suppress what their heart keeps screaming. They are no longer pretending distance makes this easier. In fact, distance has done the opposite. Distance has magnified everything. Every day away from you has made them more certain. Every quiet moment has made your absence louder. Every attempt to distract themselves has failed, because no matter what they do, no matter who they speak to, no matter how hard they try to move normally, their heart keeps returning to you, again, and again, and again. That is what they admitted to themselves after tonight. You are not a passing thought. You are not temporary. You are not replaceable. You have become the emotional standard by which they measure everyone else, and no one compares. That truth is terrifying to them, because now they know. If they lose you, they will spend the rest of their life comparing everyone to the one person they let slip away, and they cannot bear that thought anymore. That is why tonight was bigger than an argument. It was bigger than family conflict. It was bigger than emotions. Tonight was the moment they realized the cost of hesitation, the cost of delay, the cost of letting fear control their choices. And once someone understands what hesitation may cost them, they stop moving slowly. That is why their energy toward you is changing. That is why communication may suddenly shift. That is why they may begin acting unlike their usual self. Because they know the version of them that kept waiting, kept overthinking, kept holding back, nearly lost the most meaningful connection of their life. And they refused to let that happen. But here is what no one else knows. After the argument ended, after everyone left, after the house grew quiet, they sat alone replaying everything, not just tonight. Everything. The first moment they felt something for you. The first moment they realized you mattered more than they wanted to admit. The first moment they knew this connection was different. And then they replayed every mistake, every delayed response, every mixed signal, every moment pride made them act colder than they felt, every opportunity they had to choose you more openly, but didn't. And that regret hit them like a wave, because now they understand, you were never asking for perfection. You were asking for honesty. You were asking for effort. You were asking for emotional courage. And deep down, they know they gave you less than you deserved. That realization is humbling them. It is softening them. It is forcing them to confront parts of themselves they used to avoid. Because love will do that. Real love exposes the places where a person still needs to grow. And now they are growing. painfully, rapidly, unavoidably. Don't skip. Because what they are preparing for next is not small. They are beginning to understand that if they want you, truly want you, then wanting is not enough. Feeling is not enough. Thinking about you in silence is not enough. They must act. They must prove. They must show you what their heart has finally accepted. And for someone who has struggled with vulnerability, that is enormous. Because opening up means risk. It means possibility. It means rejection. It means facing what happens if they come forward and discover you have already moved on. Yes. That fear still lives inside them, but for the first time. The fear of losing you forever is greater than the fear of being vulnerable. And that is the shift you have been waiting for. That is the moment when everything changes. When fear no longer leads. Love does. Their heart is no longer whispering. It is demanding action, demanding truth, demanding movement, and they feel it every second now, even when they try to distract themselves. They cannot escape the urgency, because something inside them keeps saying, if you wait longer, you may lose them for good. That voice is haunting them, driving them, pushing them toward a decision they cannot delay much longer. And when they finally act, it will not be random, it will not be casual, it will come from the deepest part of their heart, because this next move will be born from everything they finally admitted tonight, every tear they held back, every truth they buried, every feeling they denied, every fear they carried. It is all building toward one moment, one decision, one action. One attempt to change the course of this connection forever. So if you have been wondering whether they truly understand your value now, they do. If you have been wondering whether your absence has affected them deeply, it has. If you have been wondering whether they now realize what losing you would mean, tonight gave them that answer in full. And now, they cannot unknow it. They cannot unfeel it. They cannot return to emotional ignorance. The truth has found them, and once truth finds someone, action follows, very soon. You may witness a side of them you have never seen before, a side stripped of pride, a side stripped of hesitation, a side stripped of emotional masks, a side ready to risk everything for what matters most. And if that happens, you will know exactly why. Because tonight was not merely a breaking point. It was the night they finally understood, losing you is not something they can survive emotionally without regret. And now that they know that, nothing inside them will stay the same. There is a moment after emotional truth breaks through, when a person can no longer sit still. And that is exactly where they are now, because after everything that erupted tonight, after admitting what losing you would truly mean, after finally facing the reality of a life without you, they made a decision in their heart, a decision they have been avoiding for far too long. Don't skip. Because what they are planning now could change the entire future of this connection. They are preparing to come toward you differently, not halfway, not uncertain, not hidden behind confusion and mixed signals, differently, because they know the old version of them cannot reach you anymore. That version delayed too much, hesitated too much, expected your patience to last forever, and now, they understand something painful. If they approach you with the same energy as before, they may lose you completely. So they are thinking carefully now, more carefully than ever, not because they are unsure of you, but because they know this next step must matter. It cannot be casual, it cannot be weak, it cannot feel temporary. They know whatever they do next has to show you one truth clearly. that this time is different. Stay till the end. Because something huge is waiting for you. They have been imagining the moment over and over in their mind. What they would say. How they would explain everything. How they would finally tell you what they should have told you long ago. And the reason they keep replaying it is because this is no longer about wanting your attention. It is about earning your trust again. They know feelings alone are not enough now. You have likely heard beautiful words before, seen temporary effort before, watched emotion rise and disappear before. They know that. So this time, they are not thinking about how to impress you. They are thinking about how to prove to you that their heart is no longer divided. That is why their next move may shock you. Because they are considering doing something they once feared deeply, speaking with complete honesty. No games. No emotional masks. No pretending they kind of care. No hiding behind pride. Just truth. Raw truth. The kind of truth that leaves no room for doubt. They want to tell you that no matter how hard they try to suppress it, their feelings only grew. They want to tell you that every attempt to distance themselves only made your value clearer. They want to tell you that the thought of someone else having your heart has become unbearable to imagine. Yes. That is how serious this has become. Because now they are not simply afraid of losing contact with you. They are afraid of watching someone else become what they failed to be. They are afraid of seeing another person receive the love they were too hesitant to claim. They are afraid of becoming the one who waited too long. And that fear is pushing them forward. But hear this carefully. Their biggest internal battle right now is not whether to reach out. It is whether you still have room for them in your heart. That question is haunting them. Because while they now know what you mean to them, they do not know if they realized it too late. They wonder if your silence means peace. They wonder if your distance means closure. They wonder if your calmness means you are finally moving on. And every time they think about that possibility, their chest tightens, because for the first time, they understand what it means to be on the edge of losing something irreplaceable. That urgency is making them restless. They check for signs. They analyze your energy. They wonder if the door is still open. They wonder if there is still time. And because they do not know the answer, their emotions are intensifying. Don't skip. Because what happens next may come sooner than expected. They are approaching the point where overthinking will no longer contain them. Where emotions will become stronger than strategy. Where their need to tell you the truth will outweigh their fear of the outcome. And when that moment arrives, they will act. Not because everything is perfectly planned, but because their heart will refuse to stay silent any longer. You may notice it suddenly. An unexpected message. A vulnerable confession. A conversation that feels deeper than anything before. A side of them you have never fully seen. Because when someone nearly loses the person they love through hesitation, their next attempt carries a different kind of intensity. This will not feel casual. It will not feel ordinary. It will feel like someone finally speaking from the deepest place in their soul. And when they do, you will hear the truth in ways you never have before. They may tell you how often they thought about you while pretending not to. How many nights they replayed your memories. How many times they typed messages and erased them. How many times they wanted to run to you but let fear stop them. How much emotional pain they created for themselves by resisting what their heart already knew. Because resistance has exhausted them. Pretending has exhausted them. Distance has exhausted them. And now, the only thing left is truth. But there is one final thing you need to understand. This is not impulsive emotion. This is not temporary loneliness. This is not confusion disguised as affection. No. This is what happens when someone reaches the point of undeniable clarity, when every distraction fails, when every excuse collapses, when every outside opinion becomes irrelevant, when the heart finally wins, and their heart has chosen you, completely, fully, without denial anymore. That is why the move they are planning is not small. It is not surface level. It is not just communication. It is the beginning of them trying to change the story between you, to rewrite what hesitation damaged, to fight for what fear nearly destroyed. So if your spirit has been telling you something is coming, trust that feeling, because the emotional pressure inside them is reaching its limit, and when it bursts, everything may unfold very quickly. The person who once stayed silent may soon say everything. The person who once held back may soon reveal all of it. The person who once feared vulnerability may soon place their heart in your hands, because after tonight, they know one truth beyond question: a future without you is no longer acceptable to them, and what they are about to do next will prove whether they are truly ready to fight for this connection. But even after all this clarity, even after the confession, even after the breaking point, there is still one final obstacle standing between them and the move they want to make. And this obstacle is not their family anymore. It is not outside pressure. It is not distance. It is not timing. It is you, not because you did something wrong, but because they know they may have wounded your trust more deeply than they realized. Don't skip, because this is where everything becomes painfully real for them. They understand now that the hardest part is not admitting their feelings. The hardest part is facing the possibility that you may no longer believe them. That fear is heavier than anything else they are carrying, because for the first time, they are being forced to see themselves through your eyes. They are asking painful questions now. How many times did I make them wait? How many times did I stay silent when I should have spoken? How many times did my fear look like disinterest? How many times did I confuse the person I loved by giving less than I felt? And every answer hurts, because now they see what you endured. They see the uncertainty they created. They see the emotional distance they forced you to survive. They see the moments you likely questioned your worth. When the truth was never that you lacked value, the truth was that they lacked courage. That realization humbles them. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. They know that reaching out is not enough. They know one emotional message cannot erase months of inconsistency. They know one vulnerable confession does not automatically repair trust. And that understanding is terrifying them, because now the question is no longer, do I love them? They know that answer. The question now is, have I waited too long to prove it? That uncertainty is the final wall in front of them. They fear your heart may have changed. They fear your patience may be gone. They fear your love may have transformed into peace without them. And if that is true, then they know this may be their last chance. That is why they are hesitating even while wanting to move. Because when the heart has something real to lose, every step feels heavier. But listen carefully, their fear has not stopped the movement. It has only made them more serious, because they understand that if they come toward you now, it cannot be halfway. They cannot return with vague emotions. They cannot return with temporary passion. They cannot return with confusion. They must return with certainty, with maturity, with proof, with consistency, and that is exactly what they are trying to prepare for. They are thinking about how to approach you in a way that feels undeniable, not merely emotional, different enough that you can feel the transformation, because they know if their energy feels unchanged, you will not trust it. If their effort feels familiar, you will not believe it. If their actions do not match their words, they may lose you forever. So they are studying themselves now, examining every flaw, every fear, every pattern that sabotaged this connection before, and they are asking themselves hard questions. What must I become to deserve another chance? That question is reshaping them, because real love does not only awaken desire, it awakens accountability, and accountability is changing them from the inside out. They are beginning to understand, loving you means more than feeling deeply. It means showing up differently. It means being emotionally available. It means choosing courage over comfort. It means no longer expecting you to carry the emotional weight alone, and perhaps for the first time in their life, they are ready to learn that lesson. Don't skip, because this next truth matters. Their family may have triggered the breaking point, but you inspired the transformation. Your absence, your silence, your changed energy, your refusal to keep accepting uncertainty, all of it forced them to confront what they could lose, and in doing so, you became the mirror that revealed who they needed to become. That is why they are not just thinking about contacting you, they are thinking about how to return as a better version of themselves, a more honest version, a more mature version, a more emotionally grounded version, because deep down they know, if they come back unchanged, they do not deserve another opportunity, and that truth is pushing them harder than anyone realizes. So while you may think nothing is happening, everything is happening, internally, quietly, rapidly. A transformation is underway, and the reason it feels slow is because they are trying to ensure that when they move correctly, not impulsively, not emotionally for one night, but with lasting intention, because they understand this next step may determine whether they lose you forever, or finally begin the future they always wanted with you. That is why the delay you feel now is not indifference. It is preparation. It is fear battling urgency. It is someone trying to gather the courage to do this right. And when that internal battle ends, when courage finally outweighs fear completely, they will not hold back. They will step forward fully. They will say what they should have said long ago. They will reveal everything they buried. They will put their pride aside. They will risk rejection if that is the price of honesty, because at this point, silence hurts them more than vulnerability. And that is when you know someone has truly changed, when protecting their ego matters less than protecting the connection. So hear this clearly, they are closer than ever to acting. Closer than ever to reaching out, closer than ever to showing you what this connection truly means to them. The only thing left is the final moment when fear loses its grip, and when that moment comes, nothing will stop what happens next.